I'm not going to keep you the whole time. We're just going to stay really about a half an hour, and this is my plan. I'm sorry that D2L is not available. I think I talked to ITS about it, and I think they're going to fix it. So I don't know, but I'll just email the syllabus and the schedule to you. There's nothing that's due this next week, so you really don't need to worry about anything tonight. I will send you upcoming stuff that you won't need to know until late into next week. But if you want to get started reading it, you can. You don't have to, but really you don't need to worry about anything. Just let me get the syllabus out to you. Let me get the D2L site made available. Whatever glitch is causing that, get that seen to or fixed. They said they're going to fix it. And then we can go from there. So all you need to worry about is let me know if, let's say by tonight, so by tomorrow morning, whenever you get up, if you cannot access D2L, and if you don't have an email from me with everything, with the syllabus and schedule, just let me know. But that's really all you need to worry about. And then Thursday, just show up to class as normal. And we'll really get started then on that day with our first unit and the first lecture. So really today what I want to do is just tell you the main things that you need to know from the syllabus, the course policies that I really care about and that I think need to be explained. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, and that's why we're going to get through it fast. I'll let you go and start afresh on Thursday. But I do want to go over several things. So while we're waiting for maybe one or two other people to get here, let me just introduce myself. So my name is Kristen Lacefield. You can call me Dr. Lacefield. You can call me, I really don't call me Kristen or whatever. Some people are more particular about it, I know. And I am from Tyler originally, East Texas. I don't know how many Texas people are here, but East Texas, town in East Texas. I went to Texas A&M for my undergrad. I really hated it because I didn't know anything about the school. I just went because some of my high school friends were going. And I didn't like country music, and I didn't like school traditions, and I basically just didn't like everything they stand for. No, I'm kidding. But I wasn't a huge fan, but got a good education there. And then I went to grad school at UNC, North Carolina. Any Carolina people in here? No? I love the Carolinas. So beautiful. So that's where I got my master's and my PhD is UNC, North Carolina. I never went to a single basketball game, even though tickets were $10 for students, which is I know it's so crazy, but I just didn't like basketball. But anyway, I came back here after that and have been teaching. I teach this writing class a lot. I teach film classes. I really like horror movies and war movies, and history. So I teach a lot of. Each semester I'll teach a horror film class and either a history class or a war class where we look at movies. Hey, you're good. I haven't even started yet. We look at movies about war and history and horror films and stuff. So anyway, if you like this class, those are a little different. It's more of a film and literature class. This is more of a writing class, but check it out. Okay, anything else about me? I guess that's about it. So you walked in at the right time. I'm really just going to start getting into course policies. And then, like I said, when we get out of here, I'll get hopefully the D2L thing will be fixed, and I'll get those materials out to you. But nothing you need to worry about. You just need to, show up on Thursday. That brings me to the first thing. Okay, this is technically an in-person class. Now, I am going to be doing a recording of some kind. I'm using the phone today. Sometimes I'll just turn this on, depending on what's going to be happening. But you have to understand that the recording will be vastly inferior to being here in person because this is not a hybrid class, so I'm not going to take care about how things are coming out on the recording, right? When I taught a hybrid class last semester, I would take this phone when I was in this room, and I would sometimes carry the phone around me, and I want to make sure everybody saw everything, was on camera and all that. That's not going to be the case. It's just going to be a straight recording. And so, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not going to be taking attendance, but this is also not a class where I think you could do well if you're sitting at home instead of coming to class. But that's all I'll say about that. And we're going to be doing a number of activities at times that will require you to be in class anyway. Quizzes, we're going to talk about those in a moment. The quizzes will be in person. You will bring, you can either do it handwritten way, or what most of you'll do is bring your computers and your devices, and I'll put it online and you'll take it, but you'll need to be here to take it. So basically the way I'm treating absences, whether it's COVID related or some other kind of illness or whatever, is that you're supposed to be here in class, and if you're absent, you need to get a doctor's note or you need to go to a clinic, right? So I tell students all the time, if you can't be in class and you don't want to take, and you're sick and you don't want to take a quiz or whatever, then you need to make sure that I have something from the doctor verifying that you saw the doctor or the clinic that day. Otherwise, I have no idea how to field those sorts of requests, because every time there's a quiz, I'll have like 10 students emailing me and saying, they're sick or this or that happened, and I never know, how to adjudicate that. So if you're sick, go to the doctor, go to a clinic, get verification, and then you can make up a quiz. So anyway, that's what I'll say about attendance. Now, this course is basically sort of a two-pronged approach, and I'm going to put some stuff up here. It's all in the syllabus, but sometimes it helps people to take notes, remembering things. So if you want to take some notes, jot some things down, you can. But again, this is all stuff in the syllabus. We're going to have the title of this course, just in general, the title of all of these English 10803 courses is Writing as Inquiry. Writing as inquiry, okay? And inquiring means that you are, as you know, looking into something, researching, okay? Not difficult. But here's the thing. This is a writing class, yes, but we are going to spend a good half of our time not working on the mechanics of writing or a writing project, but we're going to spend a good half of our time learning about several different fields of study in this course. That's the inquiry part. Because you cannot learn to be a good writer, or if you're already a good writer, it's hard to improve your writing when you're not writing about like real things and deep things, okay? So we're gonna, every unit in this course, we're gonna have in this course 4 units. And really, Unit 4, it's basically just the final project. You're not going to have a final exam in this class. Instead, you're going to have a final project. It's an essay, basically an op-ed, and you're going to submit that during our exam period. Okay, so you won't physically have to come to class. You can just submit that online, FYI, for the exam. But each of these units are going to be geared around a different field of study, or different themes, different topics. And I'm doing that for several reasons. First of all, not everybody likes the same things, and so the hope is that if you don't like what we're talking about in one unit, you maybe like what we do in the others better. And also, I'm trying to give you sort of a well-rounded sense of different types of writing and different types of inquiry and investigation. So the reason I'm saying all this is that I want you to understand that you will have to read some history in this class. You'll have to read some philosophy. You'll have to look at a documentary about Middle Eastern politics and stuff like that in relation to the US and stuff like that. And I think that everything I choose in here is interesting, but just understand that, right? It's not all gonna be punctuation and commas and stuff. At times, it's gonna feel like a history class or a philosophy class or what have you. Now, each unit, we're gonna do 2 different things. The first is we're going to discuss particular fields of study. So the first unit is going to be international studies. I don't know if TCU even offers that major, but international studies, and basically all that means is talking about problems and issues in other countries and our relationship to other countries. So it could be anything from, our dispute with North Korea to how can we help, the Australians with the wildfires they're having, or whatever, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to focus in that first unit, when we're doing the learning part, we're going to focus on the Middle East and late 20th, early 21st century Middle Eastern history and its relationship to the U.S. That may sound like really hard to get your mind around, but it'll be interesting, and I have a documentary that I think you'll find interesting, and we're going to look at some different articles I'm going to give you and stuff, and I try to keep everything, very sort of fresh and current and interesting. But the idea is that we spend that first couple of weeks just sort of getting a sense of the field and the types of things that people talk about, again, through the prism of this particular topic, okay? And so then, when you actually do your project, you will be able to choose any topic related to this field that you want, and you're actually going to type up an international policy memo. And And you're going to pretend, oh, and it's going to be short. I keep the projects in here rather on the short side because I really want, we're going to focus a lot in here on process of like brainstorming and outlining. And I mean, I hate to say it because it sounds so boring, but really like turning your production of a paper into a process. And so I keep things short because I want you to be really like getting in there with like revising and proofreading and stuff. And I found that when I assign something long, in terms of like a long paper that students have to write, it tends to get sloppy because they're just trying so hard just to reach that page limit. So I don't know. But anyway, that's what I think. So this is going to be, we're going to start off with, on this one, very, very short, 2 to 3 pages, single spaced. And you're going to pretend that you work for the State Department or the president, or maybe you work for a think tank in Washington, and your job is to analyze international problems and issues and help come up with policy, right? That's what they do at a think tank. That's what the people in the State Department do and whatever. And so what you'll do is you will pick a topic, anything going on, any part of the world, or our relationship with another country or dispute or whatever. And you identify a problem or an issue, and you're going to research it, and you can use popular sources. It doesn't have to be academic, but popular sources, but credible sources, but you'll research it, and you'll basically write up, like, pretend that you're writing to the president or to the State Department, like a recommendation, like an analysis of this issue, and a recommendation in a brief memo format. And so that'll be the first project, and that'll be worth 15% of your grade. All right, and then the next unit we're going to do will be the business and econ unit. So if you're a business major or if you're interested in business or econ, and obviously we're not going to be able to talk about everything, under the umbrella of this topic. So what we're going to focus on when we're in that initial learning phase is the 2008 financial crisis, otherwise known as the Great Recession, which is really like the second most disastrous period in the economic history of the world, arguably next to the Great Depression. And it's really interesting. We're going to look, if you've seen like Too Big to Fail, not Too Big to Fail, The Big Short. If you've seen The Big Short, that's what this is about. We'll look at some scenes from that movie. And I always assign a popular movie every unit. So there's a movie that you'll like and you're interested in to watch along with some of the other material. But we're going to talk about that, look at some documentary scenes, look at a movie, etc. And then when you shift into doing your project, the project will be what's known in the business world as a case challenge. When my boyfriend was at the UT MBA program several years ago, and then when he got into consulting after that, he had to do these a lot. And basically, it's just problem solving. You choose some kind of economic problem or some problem that a business or corporation is having. You research it, you do a write-up on it, and you analyze possible solutions. And you might say, that sounds very similar to the first one, and it is. Because basically what I'm wanting you to do is take the skills that you were learning or adapt or refining, and then adapt them somewhat for the business and econ case study. So you're doing similar stuff, but we're working on refining your writing and stuff like that. So that'll be also worth 15% of your grade, and that's 3 to 4 pages, single spaced, and it's 15% of your grade. Again, all this is in the syllabus, but I know you don't have it yet. Okay, and then Unit 3, this is the one that's my favorite, just personally, but we're going to look at several different but related fields of study. We're going to look at psychology, philosophy, and film studies. And the film studies part might seem kind of random, but what we're going to do in this unit, we're going to spend some time when we're in that learning phase learning about several different ideas and theories in philosophy and in psychology. Obviously, we're not going to have time to cover a whole lot. It's just basically some things that I think are interesting. I'm choosing them, so I'm the teacher, but anyway. And then you're going to choose for your project, you're going to actually do a 3 to 5 minute video. And you can think of it, the way I'd like to think of it is as a philosophical preview. That is, you will choose a movie, any movie that you've seen that you like or want to talk about, and you will compose a 3 to 5 minute video where you are previewing that movie in a way using clips from YouTube that I'll show you how to convert, or images, Google Images or whatever. But instead of just doing a normal preview where you're just telling me the plot or introducing the movie, you're going to actually talk about several ideas in philosophy and psychology that we will have covered at that point. And so you're doing a kind of a mini philosophical or psychological analysis of this movie that you've chosen that you like. And you can choose whatever you want, okay? And so that's 3 to 5 minutes. And again, it's fine if you don't know iMovie or you don't know how to edit videos, how to use the video editing software. I don't take any of that for granted. I go over all of that. It's really easy. The school has equipment in the library. They have iMovie. You don't have to use iMovie. You can use something else, but that's the one that I really emphasize in here. But using the software is not difficult. What's difficult is just taking the time to actually put a good movie together. Because learning the software is not hard at all. But sometimes students get rushed for time or whatever, and they just don't take the time to put into it. That's going to be 15% as well. And then that leaves the final project, which is going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be basically a standard editorial. So we're looking for something like 4 to 5 pages, but double spaced. And I'm going to give you some different options for topics. And so basically this is just you at the end of the semester giving me a sample of your writing and showing me what you've learned up to that point. And so this will be worth 20%, so it's worth a little more simply because you'll have more time to work on it, since this is basically your final exam. You'll have more time to work on it, and then also it should be the culmination of what you've learned in class. So that, as you can probably see, that those percentages still do not come out to do not come out to 100% because I've left off the quizzes. So I want to talk about that as well. You're going to have quizzes that are worth 20% total, and there's going to be 4 of them. And so for each of these 4 units, there will be a quiz. Now, what this means is that while the quizzes are not worth what an exam would be worth, they are worth more than maybe sometimes what quizzes are. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is you want to kind of treat it like sort of in between a quiz and an exam in how you prepare for it, right? It's not like some meaningless pop quiz that's not going to have any relevance to your grade. I have seen situations occasionally where students have done really well, like A's, A minuses on these projects, maybe on every project, but for whatever reason, they bombed the quizzes and it did take their grade down from what it would have been. So you do want to put in the study time. These will be pre-announced. They're on the schedule. I just have to email it to you again. I'm sorry, but these will be pre-announced, and there's no pop anything in this class. Everything's pre-announced. You will take these quizzes in person, and you can take them, like I said, you can take them using your computers, your electronic devices, or whatever, but you'll want to show up here in person to take the quiz. You'll have unlimited time. All the assignments, none of the assignments are timed in here. So if you have disability accommodations, but they're just time issues, you don't need to talk to me about it because they're not going to be relevant, because you can take as much time as you need. So these quizzes will be part multiple choice, part short answer, and there'll be a small essay section. They will be primarily over each unit's assigned material. So I told you that I would assign, a movie, a documentary per unit, and usually a little bit of reading, articles or whatever. And so that's the kind of stuff, pre-announced, but that's the kind of stuff that will be on these quizzes. And so the quizzes, and then also the quizzes will cover some material from my lectures. So that's another way in which it is to your benefit to attend and to take notes and pay attention, is that, starting next time, you'll see some questions from the lectures. And some of these will be writing questions too, because we are going to spend half of our time doing the specific work with the writing and the punctuation and the sentence structure and all of that. And I think everybody wants to get better at commas. Maybe you don't want to, but everybody maybe needs to. It would be a different way of putting it. But we'll work on stuff like that, so you'll feel way more confident at the end of the semester with all kinds of writing issues. And I really like teaching that stuff. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I try to do it in interesting ways. Sometimes, my classes, I'll come up with these weird sentences that we'll work on, and they're kind of like almost frightening, the sentences. They're kind of demented, and so it keeps people awake, though. That's good. Anyway, so I do try to make things in that department interesting and help you understand. And I like to explain things in very clear ways. So that's the point. All of that's going to be on the quizzes. I do not drop a quiz. Do not. And so you don't want to miss the quiz, and you don't want to bomb. You don't want to bomb a quiz. Okay. All right. What else? Each time you have a unit assignment coming up, I will post conference times where you can meet with me. And in fact, I encourage you to. So the standard protocol in this class is that I meet with every student at least once before they turn in their final assignments, so that you'll have a rough draft prepared for me, hopefully. If you don't, you can tell me some ideas or show me an outline, but ideally, you'll have a good rough draft ready for me before your sign up, the time that you've signed up for. We'll go over it. It'll only be usually like 5 or 10 minutes per student, but you'd be amazed at how much I can get through in 5 or 10 minutes. Students are really amazed. It's usually about all you need for the most part. So I'll go over it. I'll tell you what you need to work on. I'll tell you if you turn this in right now, I'd get a B or whatever. And so you'll feel confident. I know, these are worth a lot of points, each of them, but it's not like you're just going to be turning it in and just wondering, like, oh, I wonder how I did on that. If you sign up for conferences, you're paying attention and stuff, you'll have a good idea of what you need to do. And of course, I'm looking for improvement in here as well. It's important, as important as performance. So there's that. And then if you need to meet with me just as general office hours, just shoot me an email. I'm a big fan too of just talking on the phone. It doesn't always have to be like a formal meeting. And in fact, a number of these conferences, we don't even have to show up in person if you don't want to. I offer both options. I'll meet with you, or we can just talk on the phone or FaceTime or whatever. So it doesn't need to be like a big deal. Technology, I don't know if I mentioned this, the computers are okay and the tablets are okay, but not phones. So from here on out, or Thursday on out, no phones, and you need to be taking notes. Please don't be distracting anybody by being on other sites or whatever, and I don't want to hear the notifications going off and all of that, but you can take notes with your computer if you want. All right, I think that is it. You cannot miss quizzes without an excused absence, but you can have late work turned in. Did I say that? So it's 10 points off for every class period that it's late. So like, let's say Unit 1. Let's say that your memo, you're a day late, so that would be starting you then in a 90. Oh, the other thing too is that this is a plus-minus class. So an A, there's no such thing as an A plus here, but an A is a 93.5 and up. An A minus is an 89.5 and up. A minus. B plus is an 86.5 and to an 89.4. See, I can't do basic math. 89.5, there we go. Anyway, I think you get the point. But the thing about the plus minus thing is that, people really like the system when they're on the right side of it. When they're not so much. So I don't know. Make of it what you will, but that's what we're going to do in here. I think that's everything. Does anybody have any questions? Anything I haven't covered? So I will get that stuff to you. Like I said, by the time, if by tomorrow morning when you get up or whatever, you're missing anything, or you can't get on D2L, you can't get on this class, let me know. But this should all be fixed by tonight. We will meet Thursday. There's no homework. And yeah, I guess just let me know if you have any questions or issues. Otherwise, looking forward to having a good semester. All right. Bye-bye.